headed to New York City for New York Fashion Week.
Laura was in her 30s.
I still own a small jewelry business. What I do for fun is horseback riding. I absolutely love to do that.
When her life changed forever.
You either decide to learn from it, rebuild from it, or let it take you down.
She was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
I will always be carrying this. I always will have cancer. It's like a built-in ticking time bomb. My name is Laura. I live in Camden, South Carolina. I was diagnosed in May of 2023 with stage 4 non-small cell ALK-positive lung cancer.
How she knew something was off.
First sign was a cough that just wouldn't go away. I had been coughing for almost a full year, but it wasn't to the, it was just like a little bit in the morning, and sometimes during the day I wouldn't cough at all. It was just in the morning time. Sometimes the cough would produce and sometimes it wouldn't. Some days it would get better and then some days it get worse. So it's just, but it was a persistent cough that just did not go away. Over the years up to my diagnosis, I'd been getting more and more fatigued, but it kind of slowly crept up on me. And I was also approaching my late 30s, and I'm like, oh my God, am I just getting old? I just don't understand. Like, why am I tired all the time? Also, I had a lot of joint issues, not debilitating, but there was these kind of like pains in my wrist. I even complained to my doctor about it, and she prescribed me arthritis cream. And I was like, but I'm only in my 30s. Like, is this? She was like, yeah, that it happens to some people in the 30s. And I'm like, okay. Those were kind of the main symptoms: joint pain, fatigue. But the main one really was, to be honest, like I was lucky to have a cough. Because where the tumor was located, it was close to a bronchial opening. So that kind of tumor was, it was almost like an obstruction. So I was trying to cough it out, but obviously you can't cough out a tumor.
Laura hoped her symptoms would eventually go away, but they didn't. She went in for her annual checkup, where her doctor insisted she get testing done.
I finally brought up the cough, and she was a bit concerned. She's like, okay, well, a cough for that long is kind of unusual, so I'm just going to send you down to get a chest x-ray, because we had this brand new facility here at the VA, so why don't we just send you for an x-ray? I'm like, cool. I go down. From the x-ray, they find a tiny little nodule, a few millimeters across, and they're like, okay, this is common with service members, so what we do next is we get you a CT. And I'm like, okay. They're like, we just want to make sure it doesn't get any bigger. You'll get CT scans once a year just to check on the size of the nodule. I'm like, okay, cool, nothing to worry about. But unfortunately, after the CT scan, instead of a 6 millimeter nodule, it turned into a 6 centimeter mass, which is a very large tumor.
How Laura found her care team.
I have healthcare through the VA. Once they found that mass, they told me that I needed to see a pulmonologist. And so I was referred to a pulmonologist. Nicole Tanner, she's over at MUSC in Charleston. She is absolutely amazing. I mean, I was just really impressed. Like, she made me feel so comfortable. I remember after, going to her office, and she showed me a CT scan and what the next steps were with biopsy and diagnosing and everything like that. So luckily the VA is attached to MUSC, the medical hospital in Charleston. So I feel like I've received excellent care, and everything was very quick. I was also given an oncologist, and then I just kept doing my own research and found my own specific ALK-positive specialist.
Stage 4 lung cancer, and Laura first found out over the phone.
Which was fine. I went and saw my primary care. She said they found a nodule. They're going to schedule you a CT. And then the CT, as soon as she got the CT results, she didn't wait to basically like call me in. She's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I was like, wait a second. And I was like, why do I need to see an oncologist? Can this giant tumor in my lung be anything else? And she's like, no, unfortunately it's cancer. And yeah, I don't know, it took me completely by surprise. Even though I Googled, what it could be, I was like, it's not cancer. There's just no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. And it took me a long time to believe it. I don't even know when I fully recognized and believed that I in fact had cancer and lung cancer of all things. I am a non-smoker. Getting diagnosed and treated for cancer as a woman in your late 30s is intense because you're going through so much emotionally and hormonally just as a woman in that age group. Um, and mentally too, because you're aging, things are changing, and it's just so much to cope with. You think about like childbirthing age, you think about just not being young anymore. You're getting old, you're seeing your friends with kids and like they're growing up, and it's so difficult to I guess get all of that kind of thrown at you at once, because like I had to really slow down with the cancer diagnosis, and then all that kind of like hits you all at once. You're like, you have cancer, you can't do this, you can't do this, you have to take this medication. All right, now you have this side effect, so you can't do that. I don't even know how to describe it. It is just it's way too much. It's way too much for anybody to take on by themselves. um it's too much.
But Laura felt a bit more hopeful about her treatment plan after getting the results of genetic testing.
I still had cancer, but it was good news. There is a targeted therapy for me. So I started on, what is it called? First line therapy, alectinib, and that was my very first TKI that I started, and that was 2 years ago. The first TKI I lasted for about a year, and I couldn't handle the side effects of it. It kind of, I think it just really wore me down. Um, Physically first, because of all the physical things that happened with it, and then I think just mentally, I kind of like given up. I was like, if this is what my life is going to be like, where I looked back on the year that I was on the medication, and like I felt like it was a worse quality of life than before I had the cancer. I was like, then it isn't worth it. I was able to take a long break, but obviously the cancer is going to grow back. Um, so when it started showing to grow back, I heard, or my Dr. Lynn up in Boston at Mass Gen, she told me about a clinical trial that was available. This is the latest and greatest that companies are excited about. And I'm like, I want that drug. Like, I want the best that you got. Give it to me. Cause so I was luckily able to get on the trial and get the best cutting edge drug. Unfortunately, like I for some reason, like I was one of those few that my liver couldn't tolerate the medication, which is common in like other TKIs too. So I had to come off of that. And then I've just started my third one a month ago, and I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, this one's gonna stick, and it's gonna be great. Unfortunately, with the TKIs, it's not a cure, um, or not even really even close to a cure. But you have to keep taking the drug until it stops working. And the only way to tell if it's working or not is by constant CT scans monitoring. So every 3 months, I'll have a CT scan to check the size of it, making sure that it's staying the same. Like staying the same is like really good news. So it's never, I don't know, they don't know why, but it's just residual cells. It never actually goes away.
How Laura's diagnosis impacts her day to day.
The first year definitely was the hardest. The second year was pretty difficult too. But that was mainly trying to find a new normal. It is grieving loss, It is scrambling, it is trying to figure out how to survive, and it is trying to rebuild. It is uh, it is just completely overwhelming, but you either do it or you don't. I got to do it. Like that's the thing. Like at any person, given any type of tragedy, you either decide to um, learn from it, rebuild from it, or let it take you down.
She looks at life differently now.
I know my identity is completely changed because like I will always be carrying this. I always will have cancer since there is no cure. And it's always something I think about. I don't know who else thinks about death every single day, but I mean I do. It's like a built-in ticking time bomb. I know it's there. I have choice over what I do with the life that I have left.
Cancer has also changed her relationships and strengthened the ones that matter most.
I do have a lot of friends. My sister, who's my only family member, we didn't really have a good relationship going into the diagnosis, and it didn't. The diagnosis itself didn't make anything better, but it did help us work really hard to try and make our relationship work, and we have, and I'm really grateful to say that it's gotten a lot better, and so that's one good thing from the cancer. I think quality of life is very important, even over length of life. And I think every single person has a different opinion. I think that really changes how a patient should receive care or gets care. And nowadays, I think doctors are really taking that into consideration. So, like, if you do have a diagnosis of cancer, and you don't like your current treatment options, you can talk to your oncologist about it and be like, listen, like I don't like the side effects, or I don't like this. Is there anything else that we can do? Chances are there really is something that could be done.